Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing? Love the way you look in the mirror and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. And today's podcast is being produced from Moscow, one of my favorite Moscow's hotels. It's Izmailova Alpha Hotel. The reason why I love this hotel, it's not I don't promote the hotel, but I really love it because it's like a small city inside of this complex. So it's several buildings and the hotel has its own gym that is pretty amazing. It's like professional gym. There are two parks that are amazing, also big, and there is the river. There are UNESCO sites. Also there is Izmailova Kreml, that is also a sightseeing attraction. There is coffee shop 24 hours open downstairs. There are a few restaurants, really good service. Metro is across the street. So I love this place. It always makes me feel like at home in Moscow. So I always stay here. I'm drinking my herbal tea. I just finished my hotel lunch and dinner because I practice, especially when I travel, I find it very convenient to practice 1 meal a day lifestyle. So I eat just once most of the days and the rest practice intermittent fasting, drink mineral waters, drink herbal teas, drink black coffee. So it's a little bit of insight into my digital nomad lifestyle. Recently, one of my nieces, because my sister has 3 kids. So she asked my mom, where is Angela's home? And my mom didn't know what to tell her because at the moment I don't really have a home. I'm homeless officially, but not in any negative way. I just live in different countries, and whenever I feel like that's the next step for my mission, I move to that city and I work there, I live there. I do my work online, of course. I coach clients, I create my content no matter where I am. So yeah, I'm officially homeless. I'm a digital nomad. And today we'll talk about a couple of things that I believe are very important for you to kind of understand and think about. So on my way here today, it was 3.5-hour flight to Moscow from my home city, Surgut. I was sitting to a couple of sysadmins and programmers, so basically tech guys. And before we took off, one of the guys offered me a candy. I don't know how it is on all the flights. I believe it's quite common for the airline also to offer candies because usually it helps people when we have something in our mouth to avoid some ear pain that some people experience. Anyhow, he offered me this candy, and of course I don't eat any sugar, so I said no thank you, and I said I just don't eat any sugar. And then we got to talking, of course, and he's like, but candy doesn't have that many calories. A lot of people are avoiding sugar because of calories. And then I started to explain that I'm avoiding sugar for actually two different reasons that has nothing to do with calories. And so reason number one why I'm against sugar is, yeah, it doesn't have more calories than any other regular food item, right? But when it comes to sugar and sugar candies, you get those calories without any nutrients. Like, you just get the sugar. And guys, unless you are an athlete, unless you like starving, really starving, you don't need more empty calories. You need to maximize the amount of nutrients per each calorie you eat. And so why I'm against sugar, because it's additional sugar, additional glucose that most of us don't eat unless, we are professional athletes and we are like competing. Sometimes it makes sense. And we don't get any nutrients with that sugar. And but besides that, sugar creates that condition in your body when your blood sugar spikes and your insulin spike, and it's proven to decrease the amount of heart health you have, to increase the amount of inflammation you have. It damages your arteries and contributes to heart disease in the future. It's like every time the sugar spikes, your arteries get a hit. Like there are different cracks in your arteries, and so little by little your arteries get more and more damaged. And so in 20-30 years you might end up with heart disease, and you won't be able to figure out why. And a little bit of sugar every day, fast sugar, and that's why and that's, a problem with different food items. They might not kill you today or even in a month or even in a year, but you do that a little by little, 20 years, 30 years, and then at the end of those 20-30 years, you get some disease that just impossible to reverse. And that's why I'm against sugar. Again, unless you're an athlete, it probably doesn't make any sense for you to consume any sugar. And so that's the problem with sugar and why I don't eat any sugar, because again, I'm trying to eat the most amount of nutrients, vitamins and minerals per calorie, and sugar does not have any nutrients, so that's why I don't eat any sugar. And then also there was another guy, so two guys who were, their names were Vadim and Vitaly, and so the other guy asked me, so what do you think about bread? Like, is it healthy? Is it good for you? Or we shouldn't be really eating bread? And I, when somebody asks me that kind of question, like, is it a healthy food or it's not? I remind them, well, first of all, again, blood sugar issue, it's also a refined carbohydrate, and so it's going to have negative effect on your blood sugar and your heart health and your metabolic health, your inflammation levels, like no matter what. But then also, if we look at the nutritional profile of, let's say, regular bread, regular white bread, and so 2 slices or 100 grams of that will have somewhere around 46 grams of carbohydrates and just 2.5 grams of fiber per those 2 slices. And those 2 slices of bread will have some protein. They even will have quite a lot of different minerals, but in tiny amounts. And so, for example, if you want to get your minimum protein requirements and all of your minerals, like a lot of them from bread, you'll have to eat like 1 kilo of bread and eat nothing else. And so you're gonna get, like somewhere 2,000 something calories. But with that, you also gonna get 460 grams of carbohydrates. And guys, I don't care who you are, unless you're a professional athlete, that amount of carbohydrate, fast carbohydrates from highly processed carbohydrates will create a metabolic issue, and that will develop into some sort of degenerative disease, either heart disease or metabolic disease, diabetes, a lot of inflammation, visceral fat and belly fat. It will cut healthy years of your life. It will steal your energy, and well, who's gonna eat a kilogram of bread just to satisfy nutrition requirements for minerals, right? Like, I mean, besides that bread, it won't have those essential fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A. There is no vitamin A in bread. There is no vitamin K2 that is proven to be one of the most essential nutrients that most people have no even idea what it is actually. There is no vitamin B12. There is no vitamin C. There is no vitamin D. There are no omega-3 fatty acids like EHA and DPA, EPA and DHA. And so it's that diet's going to be still deficient in key nutrients. And you're gonna get a load of carbohydrates, and that's gonna create another metabolic issue. So is bread healthy food? I mean, it's close to sugar. It has some nutrients, but in order to get any meaningful of those amounts of those nutrients, you will have to eat like a ton of it, and with that you're also gonna get like a ton of carbohydrates that, again, most of people, unless they're professional athletes, literally don't need. And so that was my answer to him, and he seemed to understand it. So the problem is those foods, again, when you eat them, you get really little amount of essential nutrition, and you get a bunch of carbohydrates or sugars or empty calories, and it prevents you from eating more nutritious foods, like whole vegetables, even some whole fruits, like in decent amount. They're really good addition to a healthy diet, sometimes, not always. And then, of course, fatty fish and organ meats, those are super nutritious, super delicious, and you just need a tiny amount to get a lot of those essential nutrients. But then also, I'll tell you a little bit about my traveling eating routine and why I choose certain foods over others. So when I travel, I don't have usually a kitchen, so I usually stay in hotels, sometimes in Airbnb. But for example, in Russia, Airbnbs, the quality of them, like either they're too expensive, or they're just really crappy. So I prefer hotels, and so most hotels of course don't have kitchens, and I just go to a nearby good supermarket, and I usually buy fatty fish like sardines or salmon. In Russia, like in many countries, we have pretty good canned seafood, so you can get them in water or olive oil. Those are my choices because of the nutritional profile. And with that fatty fish, you get your protein, you get your omega-3 fatty acids, you get your magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, zinc, manganese, and copper, and choline, like a lot of essential nutrients, some vitamin A, some vitamin D, some vitamin C, B12. Like you get a lot of nutrition for not so much calories, and plus they don't have that many carbohydrates. That, again, carbohydrates might be a good part of your diet, but most of the people eat way too much carbohydrates that are not combined with appropriate amount of fiber. So fatty fish, and then also, for example, I like to eat canned wild game, like canned wild rabbits, or canned wild geese. We have that in Russia, and it's quite tasty. And then also for my fiber, for example, I like to eat flax seeds. And flax seeds, they're kind of seeds, but they're not the same seeds as, for example, I don't know, they're not like grains. So flax seeds are also very, very rich in minerals, and they also have a lot of land omega-3s, and they are much richer in minerals than, let's say, bread for the same amount. Yeah, they're a little bit higher in calories also, but they have those essential nutrients, and they also, like, for example, 100 grams of flax seeds have 27 grams of fiber compared to 100 grams of white bread that has 2.5 grams of fiber. And carbohydrates in flax seeds is like 2 grams of digestible carbohydrates, meaning except the fiber. for 100 grams of flax seeds. And that's why I also love flax seeds. I also love avocados that I had already today. What else? I love carrots and bell peppers because they are great sources of different phytochemicals. Also, bell pepper is one of the richest and low carb sources of vitamin C. One bell pepper will give you 3 times the amount of vitamin C you need, plus, phytochemicals, plus fiber, and it's just delicious. So that's what I usually eat when I travel, like some sort of variation of that nutrition. I also love nuts and seeds. So today I haven't eaten any because I don't feel that hungry, but usually I would get like macadamia, Brazil nuts, pecan nuts, some pistachios, some hazelnuts. So some almonds, a whole like variety of different nuts, because again, different nuts also have different nutrition profiles, and they're really rich in fiber and in healthy fats, in vitamin E, that is also pretty important for our health. It's one of the major antioxidants for our body, and also prevents fats from oxidizing in our body. Yeah, so that's how I eat. And also this time I'm going to check out the yeah, that's actually the advice for you guys. So whenever you choose a hotel, whenever you travel, try to choose buffet kind of restaurant in a hotel, because then there is a big possibility that you actually can find something that you love, something that is healthy, or something that suits your diet, no matter what your diet is, and you can, load your plate with that. When I was in Greece recently, sometimes they would roast or fry some chicken livers, or grill some chicken livers, and there were a lot of like olives and bell peppers also. So because it was buffet, I would just load up on chicken livers, a lot of olives, a lot of bell peppers. I would pour like olive oil, extra virgin olive oil all over it, and I didn't have to like stick to the portions or the choices that sometimes you are offered at non-buffet restaurant, right? So I really love and advise you, especially if you have a special diet requirements, to go for buffet restaurants. And also in Moscow, there are quite a few food places where they sell good quality meat, fish, vegetables, where you can go pick them and they will cook there for you. So that's another option for times when I don't have kitchen around, and I'm gonna do it one times here too. There is like this big food place in Moscow, like the biggest in Moscow, and it's basically a huge market and food marketplace, and also food court. And that's the place where you can also like pick your own fish, pick your own meat, and then you go to chef and tell him exactly how you want to cook it. Or there are also oysters, lots of seafood, fresh seafood there, and a lot of vegetables. So that's also on my to-do list. I'm gonna be staying while I'm staying here in Moscow. And so to sum up this episode, guys, why sugar, why processed grains, why processed carbohydrates like pasta, like pastries, why those food are not good for you at all? Two main reasons: very nutrient poor per the amount of calories and carbohydrates you're gonna get with the amount of nutrients you're getting, and also the negative effect on your health, your blood sugar, your insulin levels, your heart health, because your arteries get damaged, where, by the way, your cholesterol or any fats circulating in your blood will stick. And so a lot of people get heart disease not because of too much fat in their diet, but because they damage their arteries by other eating habits, like too much sugar and processed carbohydrates and constant glucose spike, and that contributes to heart disease. So for those two reasons, poor nutrient density and negative effect on our health, that's why I don't eat sugar and processed carbohydrates. And I don't even talk about negative effect on most gut health, how it screws up our gut health and damages it, and that creates another set of allergies and gut issues that can lead to mental health issues that can lead to in different diseases and conditions caused by too much inflammation, and your immune system can be triggered. So that's like a whole host of problem. And so that's why, I really recommend to opt in from sugar and especially processed carbohydrates. Your pasta, pastries, breads, whole grain or non-whole grain, it's all almost the same, guys. And then when you travel, my advice to choose hotels and places with buffet kind of restaurants where you can pick and choose what to put on your plate. And then also, don't forget that you can go to a regular market and pick up things that don't require any cooking if you don't have kitchen like I don't right now. So you can have canned sardines that are available everywhere in the world. Like literally, I traveled to every place, and I found it in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Thailand, in United Emirates, in Oman, in Lebanon, of course US, and what else? Peru and Mexico and Colombia. Like you can find sardines everywhere. It's one of the best sources of protein, also cheap and full of nutrients. And then flax seeds, avocados are widely available almost anywhere also. And so many other amazing, delicious food that don't even require any cooking. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, I'm a huge fan of herbal teas, especially peppermint is great for digestive health. That takes the heat up very often when you travel. So peppermint tea after your meals and just, a way to relax and get ready for sleep. It's caffeine free, so it's amazing. Herbal teas are caffeine-free herbal teas. They're great for health, and I also love the taste of a lot of them. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know how you like this episode, what you found useful, and again, try to opt out of sugars, processed carbohydrates, breads, pastries, pastas, pizzas, all of that very nutrient poor and very not good for your health. So thank you for tuning in. I wish you an amazing Wednesday, no matter where in the world you are. As usual, eat better daily, no matter where you are in the world, what time of the year it is, because your health deserves the best any time, any month, any day of the year. Love you guys and talk to you tomorrow.